Hey guys, this is Team Enterprise, and we're gonna do the reflection on the other group's reflection vlogs.
We wanted to start out talking about volunteering, and all the groups mentioned volunteering and how it really brought it together, the teams.
I felt like when we all contributed last weekend, we contributed at the Hands Greater One in Richmond, and we worked with the people, and we kind of connected on a level. Especially this one man named James. He was very, very touching. He reminded me of my grandfather, and he was just, the smile on his face was just relaxing. It was amazing. I touched his life. He touched my life. We danced, we laughed, we shared cookies, and I felt like the whole entire experience was very, very great for me. Never forget where you come from. The community is everything.
It was really interesting to see how different groups volunteered in different ways, and they were still able to kind of come to the same conclusion with the volunteering, feeling that connection to the community, and the fact that everyone kind of touched on it in their videos as something that was a highlight for them in the class, even though we all kind of did different things, whether that was something as simple as just buying some food and doing what you can to get something out there, or doing something more organized with an organization like we did. Either way, it still kind of ended up with people feeling that connection with the community and feeling like that's a part of being in an organization as well as corporate social responsibility too.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting about hearing other people's volunteering opportunities as well, because I know from our volunteering opportunity we had a really strong leadership character there, and I thought that was one of the things that I learned from most by participating in the volunteering opportunity. Just the way that she organized and ran everything was influential on my time there, and it was interesting to hear how groups experiences all differed.
Yeah, that was really great to have that leadership point of view from someone who was leading something more of a volunteer type situation, and the fact that she was still so passionate and still displayed the leadership skills that we talk about here in class, even though it's on a smaller scale. It makes it sense that everything can be scaled down and applied to your life, even if you're not the CEO. You can still use those principles for whatever team you're on.
Another thing that both of the other groups also talked about was how they liked that we had class discussions instead of coming in and taking a test every week, and that really helped people learn and be more just engaged in the class.
Yeah, I felt like the group class discussions were very, very helpful to us. I know Mike, he had to deal with a lot of each different chapters that we talked about, like leadership and motivation, all those, and intrinsic, what we talked about yesterday during our class group discussions. He really gave that personal level connection of how it is on the job, and after we graduate, it's very, very important for us to take those skills and apply that on the real world in the job. And I really appreciate that for him, because that very helped me as a person.
Yeah, I thought that his point of view was really crucial as someone who was out there in the working world as a manager, and he was really open contributing in a way that I was kind of surprised with, having a non-traditional age student in the class. It was great to see him open up and be really honest and candid about his day-to-day dealings as a manager, which I think kind of brought everything into perspective. And Sung Soo touched on the video how it kind of felt like we were in a meeting and rather than in a classroom, and I really feel like that discussion-based learning was really helpful, especially for me, because you have to make a point and stand by it rather than just someone sitting and you lecture. We kind of had a good back and forth that I think people challenged each other, and that was really important too.
Yeah, I think that the discussion-based learning style that we have in this class is definitely been very influential on my learning, and I think everyone else's learning in the class, just because when you're a student in one of these classes where the professor is just going through presentations or just lecturing, and students are just taking notes, and then you go home and read the book or whatever, and you don't have the opportunity to discuss with your fellow classmates, you kind of lose the perspective and I think that's definitely an interesting part of it, is hearing what everyone's different perspective on how they would deal with specific situations that we're presented with in the management book, and what they think about what we're learning.
It was awesome that like a lot of people were able to bring like their real world jobs and like their real world experience and like their experience from other classes and like their passions like into the discussions, which like never ever happens in a classroom because you're always just sitting in silence listening to the professor and like not really having a back and forth. So I feel like it's definitely going to be difficult to go back to a traditional style class after this, but I feel like it'll motivate us more to kind of force opening up that discussion, like even if we can't do it in class, like kind of finding a group that you can like discuss the text through rather than just like sitting and studying on your own. I feel like even if you might not have thought that you were like the kind of person that could learn that way, I feel like we all kind of found that we got something really special out of it. Yeah.